Hola.
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Lou9294 coming at you with another vid. I know y'all like, man, this dude been making a lot of videos for the past couple of days, but I'm excited about this new phone I have, so I've been shooting a lot of videos. First off, excuse the particles in the tank because I just got finished feeding these guys. So they just got finished eating, and a lot of people have been asking me, how did I get these guys to grow so fast? Well, before I start off by telling you that, you have to make sure that your tank is over-filtrated. I mean, seriously, over-filtrated. This is what works for me. I can't tell for anybody else, but this is what has worked for me. As you can see, these guys are huge. Some are still babies. I have like this little guy right here going in the poop compartment where all the poop collects at, but he's still tiny, probably about 2.5, 3 inches, something like that. The rest of these guys, 4, 5, maybe 6 inches, maybe 7 on some of them. So, like this guy right here, I know he's about 7. Gotta be about 7. So, with that being said, I overfed my tank for a minute because I tried out a new food, and it's the Nordfin. I started feeding them the Nordfin. Nordfin is actually a real good food to feed your fish every day. With that being said, it doesn't cloud up the tank like most foods do. As you can see, they got a few particles and stuff floating around, but you don't see the red cloudy mess like you'll have with the New Life Spectrum. When I was feeding the New Life Spectrum, tank used to just be horrible looking. I mean, real horrible looking. But by me feeding the Nordfin, I'm able to overfeed my fish 2 to 3 times a day. That's what I was doing for the first month, I think it was. I was power feeding. I mean, power feeding, like I'll feed them full meals, and if I seen like they had too much food in their belly, like, let me show you for instance, this dude is real greedy. So, and he's not the tank boss, but he'll eat first. See how he got that puffy belly a little bit? So I'm going to slack off on feeding to make sure his stomach goes back down. But once he poops it all out, it'll go down. But with that being said, you don't want your fish to be all bloated looking and everything. That's not a good thing to have your fish all bloated looking, but that's just something he does. I have no idea why he does it, but in a few days, probably by tomorrow, his stomach will be real back to normal. But they just ate. I mean, like, I just literally put the food in there, so that's why you see all the particles and everything. But over filtrate your tank. Make sure to do water changes every week or twice a week in order to get all the ammonia, the nitrates and nitrites out, because you don't want to kill your fish. You want them to still be living, you know, and all that bio load. You have to make sure you have something to collect all the bio load. So like I say, I have like 800 and something gallons of filtration on this tank. And this is only a 120. I know it's overkill. I know you see the surface agitation is really overkill, but I did that because I knew I was sick and I probably couldn't do water changes like I should all the time. But I'm able to do the water changes like I should, like I need to, in order to make these guys grow, man. So power feeding and doing water changes once or twice a week will help your fish grow real fast. I've only had these fish probably 3 months, I think. Probably 3 months, and you've seen how tiny these fish were when I first started this tank off. They were real tiny. I mean, like tiny. Like the smallest guy that I showed you. I don't know where he went. This guy right here. They were smaller than him when I first started this tank off. This right here is the Jacob Freiberg. So they were real smaller than him when I first started this tank off. And I just power fed, man. I power fed and I made sure I stayed up on my water changes. Make sure you do your water test to make sure your ammonia and your nitrates and nitrites are not spiking up in your tank, and your fish will grow faster. That's just a tip that I decided to share with you guys, because a lot of people were like, man, they got big fast. How they got big so fast? Well, now you know how they got big so fast. I power fed the tank. And by power feeding, these guys have grown tremendously bigger than what they were. Like, you know, this was my favorite little fish when I first started this tank off on a turquoise hap. He's coming into his own. This little light in the tank ain't doing him no justice, but he has a nice turquoise color. You can see how big this guy is. And he's coming into his own with his color. But my most dominant fish is this guy right here and this guy right here. My Blue Regals, they're the most dominant fish in the tank. They run the tank. And my man Kool-Aid up here, the OB, they don't mess with him at all. No shape, form, or fashion, but he's not the tank boss. He's not the tank boss. Those are the guys who run the tank. He got into a scuffle with somebody, I don't know who, and he hit his little tail up. I guess because he's trying to keep his little territory. I got up in here, did a little cleaning earlier. Couldn't do no water change. It's been raining for the past couple of days. But I scrubbed down the background a little bit, made it look a little bit neater. But he digs holes right here, real bad. So if you want your fish to grow faster, power feed. Make sure to do water changes. Don't just feed and have your tank all nasty and filthy looking. As you can see, this water is still crystal clear. Crystal clear water with little particles floating around, because they still got little poop particles for them digging in the sand, and little food particles floating around. But that'll help make these guys grow a whole lot faster. Don't forget to get your 10% off of your AQUADECOR background, 3D background. and you can have a beautiful, outstanding tank like this. As usual, love you guys. Love you guys. God bless. Do water changes, man. Do water changes if you're going to overfeed. Do water changes. I can't stress that enough, because you do not want to kill your fish. I haven't had any casualties, haven't had any diseases going on since I bought that fish from somewhere. But do what you got to do, man. Y'all be cool. Peace.